What's up, you guys? We just finished Ask Alex number 84, and I love these deal reviews because, Alex, we're going deep on actual deals in the market. What were your biggest takeaways from today's?
So big takeaway from today was that we showed the deal makers how we're adjusting our ARV. We also went in detail and called a couple of agents on pending deals because those are even more important right now. See where the market is going. And we taught so much more. Check it out if you want to review deals and get way better at it and make some money. All right, what's up, everybody? Just get my lighting situation here. Wow, today is going to be a great webinar. We're going to be covering the new way we analyze deals. We're going to be covering some actual live deals. This is one of my favorite webinars because I'm so passionate about just the acquisition side of the business that I love sharing how do I do it, how I think about it, because only over time do you really get to get that skill set. So we're gonna get my co-host. In the meantime, as you guys know, this is meant for networking, collaborating, talking about real estate, particularly flipping, but also just investing in general. So make sure you put your information in the comments for some of you people who are new. I know we have some regulars, so let's get my man Will Wall in the building. How's everybody doing? I see some regulars, and I'm sure we'll see some new people joining on today. But I am in Mexico still. Excited to get back to LA pretty soon. My house is almost done. We're going to be searching the MLS. We're also going to be looking at deals that we've been sent out ourselves. So make sure you pay attention, take notes, because we're going to go pretty fast. All right, guys. So since last week, for some of you that joined me, I'm back here in Mexico. I spent some time in Monterrey. So I got a chance to hike in the mountains, get some refreshing time alone, also recharge. I'm an avid trail runner and hiker. So for some of you that have those positive habits, you got to do that right now with so much negative just news and the negative energy coming from all over the place. It's just a good time right now to make sure you have those positive habits. I posted a video about that and a lot of people resonated with that. Also, so a lot of you might know, might not, I'm moving back to Los Angeles. I got a place in Hollywood. It's almost 2 months behind schedule because we've been doing a lot of custom work, and but it's at the finish line. So end of this month, I'll not only be doing being back at my house there in Hollywood, but we'll also be doing a huge meetup in downtown LA. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Let me see if Will's joined on. He's still not on. Okay. Private money lender came by today. Well, one of our money partners stopped by my property here in Mexico. She happened to be visiting another side, the coast, and we hung out. We got to know each other. We connected. She recently invested in our 18 unit deal, and so it was cool to hang out in Mexico with her, show her a little bit around. And we love connecting with our partners and people that we work with in person if possible, and sometimes it just works out. So that was kind of cool. Also, what we're doing now, looks like Will finally decided to join us. Next thing that I know that Will is super happy about is we're getting one of our Joshua Tree properties to the finish line. We've also been working on that project for a little over a year with permitting and some challenges with the design, and definitely some things that happened with the relocating of the tenant. That took a little bit longer, but that depreciation, the market, the deal that we got originally is getting to the finish line, and it's a pretty huge payday, 6-figure deal. So we're super happy about that. Well, what's up, bro? Are you back or what?
What's up, my man? How we doing today?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. We just got back doing a little bit of errands here during the lunch break, but I figured I would miss your Guadalajara update and your Monterrey update because I didn't want to hear about how beautiful the mountains were and how awesome your hiking was. I knew I would just be immediately jealous, but obviously pretty excited to hear that the Hollywood house is definitely progressing forward, and we can't wait to get you back here in LA. I know today we're actually going to look over some deals here in LA, and that's one of the main reasons why you want to get back here, right? Is a market like this. We want to be greedy when other people are being fearful, and having you back here in town will allow us to really kind of maximize our efforts on the acquisition side, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. One of the things that I've been working on is the habits, right? Staying with a lot of travel, it can be more difficult to have a steady routine. And so since I'll just be in Los Angeles and in Guadalajara only, and I won't really be in Hawaii that much, I'll be able to get to a much better flow. I'm already, and also my property in Los Angeles is what I would consider very centrally located to a lot of the projects that we work on. So I think all that's going to kind of sink in. So doing a lot of that, spending some time here with the family here in Mexico. Nothing too crazy there, but the great news is on July 28th, we will be hosting our next downtown LA in-person live meetup. It's for free. There's gonna be food. There's gonna be special guests. Keep that in mind, everybody, that, I mean, this is the biggest event that we typically throw. I think over 150 people generally come. We've already got, I think, 120, 130 people that have registered. So, and usually people bring a friend or sometimes more. So we're definitely looking to get a head count, because since we're providing some food and also there'll be a cash bar, you know, everybody, you know, it's a fun time. And I think everybody will connect and learn like they have in the past. We hear countless stories of people doing business with each other, or some deals developing, or somebody learning something, or maybe somebody taking action now that they were around a group of 100 people where they weren't the only one that was starting out. So I love these events, Will.
And we've even done business, right, Alex, with people that we met at the webinars and at the meetups, right? Like we've met people at these meetups that have come on to become team members of ours. We've met people that have, gone on to bring deals that we've done together and both, made profits on and both grown our wealth on, right? So I think, you can't understate enough the value of these meetups. When you go out, it's a great chance for you to just meet other, like-minded people, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, my guy. So
I'm going to share the link real quick, Alex, before we dive in, just for folks who do want to kind of connect and get access to that meetup. We have the Facebook group right there. And if you go into the Facebook group, it's just the first post. It's kind of, pinned up to the top there. It's our meetup. So if you need to RSVP, go ahead and use that link right there, and we'll get you RSVP for the event.
Yep.
What else has been going on, Alex? I know, we're going to be looking at a couple of deals today, and that should be pretty exciting. These are, arguably one of my favorite webinars because literally, like, we're breaking down the exact strategies, the exact way that we're analyzing, the exact way that we're underwriting our deals on a daily basis. We're kind of diving in and doing that today. And again, I know for you, like you said, you're starting to get that acquisitions itch back, getting ready to get back here to Los Angeles. And so we know how fun acquisitions is for you. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at some deals here, guys. And as always, while we're using this, guys, feel free to use the Q&A. There's a chat feature here, and then there's also a Q&A feature down there. And if you have any questions, while Alex is going through a deal, while he's kind of reviewing something, if he says something like, hey, I don't, I tend to buy away from cemeteries, and you're like, hey, Alex, I don't understand that. Why do you avoid cemeteries? Like, go ahead and use that Q&A feature down there. And we'll be happy to answer your questions live as Alex is kind of going through and reviewing some deals here.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, Will. So during the webinar, I said you're gonna one, look at a deal that we ended up not buying, but still, so you can learn what our new ARV criteria is. So we're gonna kind of go through that. So pay attention. And then after that, we're gonna call on a couple of listings that are live, new fixers, and just kind of talk to agents about potentially buying a property. So you can kind of see that side of things and how the conversations might have, kind of shifted now to a little bit more of a buyer's market. And since we're investors, flippers, we'll buy and we'll also sell. So we're able to see both sides of the market, and we want you to see both sides of those. And then lastly, we're gonna go
real quick before you dive into that. Has anybody on the call been on when Alex calls a real estate agent, when he calls a wholesaler, when he calls somebody live on the call? I mean, it's pretty fun stuff, guys. Like, he's literally, again, like showing you guys exactly how that conversation would play out, exactly how we would make that call. So I see Diana here. It's her first time. I see some familiar faces in here. Andy, Ulysses, Dennis, Edward, I know you guys have had a chance to see this. So like Alex said, like, take notes, like specific notes on how he does his call, what his cadence looks like how he kind of prepares. You'll notice he's going to be smiling. Sometimes he'll smile at you guys during the call and be like, watch this, guys, something's happening cool here. So like, really feel how he gets involved on those calls because it's good stuff to kind of learn when the master's going to work. All right.
Thank you, man. Too kind, too kind. It's really just reps, man. Just focus reps over many years of time, talking to many agents, being an agent. You just know how they talk, but then there's also other factors, right? Like what's happening in the market, who you are as a buyer. And so that confidence can really help you get further along and get your offer considered. So we're gonna discuss that. Also, we're gonna look at a wholesale deal, and that deal is an off-market deal. And then it's in Riverside. So we got some Long Beach and Riverside. As many of you know, most of the transactions we work on in Southern California, but the principles are the same. They are the same. The formulas and stuff are very similar. And your purchase criteria is even more important now, the way you analyze deals. So let's jump right in. It's going to go kind of fast, but as I will mention, if you have questions, just chime in and then I'll slow down. I can analyze a deal, you guys, in 7 minutes, 6 minutes, like bam, bam, bam. I'm going to slow it down for you guys so you can see it and, also understand the thought process behind it. But, we definitely want to cover ground since we're looking at, I think we're trying to look at 4 deals. All right, cool. So first things first, you need to have your tools. You cannot analyze deals properly if you do not have your tools. Can you see my screen, Will?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay,
Alex, what are your main tools when you're analyzing a deal? I know you use MLS and you use your deal calculator, correct?
Yeah, first, it's the calculator. We have a worst case, base case, and best case calculator. That helps you analyze the deal for the different outcomes. So whether you use ours or use the bigger pockets one or the Ryan Pineda one or whatever one that you find, you need to have a tool to analyze your numbers for the potential profit and the risk of the deal. So number one is your calculator. Number two, typically I like to kind of really start with like the map, right? The satellite version, take an overview of the property, of where things are at, see if there's any things that are deal killers. So we'll be talking about that, but that is your second tool. And the third, and arguably one of the most important as well, is a way to comp the property out, whether that's through Redfin, Zillow, or us. We do have MLS access. We cannot operate a business without MLS access. Now you can buy some deals and use agents and all that, but your ideal situation is for you to have access to MLS. I have a search that's already run here. We'll jump into that in a moment. But you definitely need ways to analyze the comps and what values are in the area. So calculator, maps, comps. Now we're talking about if you do have access to MLS access, then you typically I really like to be able to look at the tax records for that property. So I could see if there's anything there that might be of interest or something that helped me determine what the county reads for that property. So that
guys, if you don't have MLS, not the end of the world. You can always check with a local title company. They'll be able to help you pull that information. An escrow company, a local agent can help you pull that, or there are ways around that. But like Alex said, it's obviously easier if you do have your own access.
Yes, exactly. And then there's some auxiliary websites you typically need to help you have a little bit more information. Like I said, you could look at title records, but this is the Los Angeles County Assessors map. It helps me sometimes determine, because Southern California has such a variety of cities, municipalities, counties. You need to understand where your property lies in, because it determines some factors that we'll be talking about, such as rehabbing the property.
What do all those colors mean down there, Alex? Are those different cities and different municipalities?
Yes, exactly. So if you zoom in here, just here to South LA, you have different colors here, because this is kind of in the county of, this is in Inglewood, the city of Inglewood, where this is city of LA. Where this is.
So it's good to know what city you're working with, right? Am I working with the city of Inglewood, or am I calling the city of LA, the county of LA, the city of Hawthorne? Like what actual department am I working with on this project? That's going to be very important for you to know.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get the details of why that is, but overview is just understanding this is a piece of real estate, a piece of land, and it's under a certain jurisdiction. And you might need to go to these municipalities, you might need to go to these county offices, city offices for certain information, or to actually get permits, something to do with the property. So you need to understand that, and that is relevant. It's not the first thing I look at, but it's certainly something I need to know if I'm further along in the analysis of the deal, and it seems like something that might happen. Okay, cool. And then this is a city-specific website called Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety. We always check if it is in the city of Los Angeles, if there's any expired or anything that's a permit a code violation that could affect the property, or as you see here, permits and related inspections, things like that that are relevant to the property that might help you determine what permits have been pulled in the past, or what code violations the property has that you will have to resolve as an investor. As we all know, you are solving a lot of problems when you're buying real estate in an investment kind of format. So these are things that you need to know. And if this person has 7 code violations in the last couple of years, well, shoot, there's some things going on there that you're gonna have to kind of understand and be able to fix and remedy when you buy the property. So, all right, any questions there on those tools?
No, again, I think, Alex, like most of those tools are free, right? LA County DBS, you can go find that online. You can go find the assessors map. You guys, this is stuff that, Zillow provides a lot of the same services MLS does. So although Alex is using these, most of these are free or accessible by other platforms. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at some deals, man.
Yeah, let's do it. So first one we're gonna look at is a property in the city of Long Beach. So as I mentioned before, one of the first things I do is just type in the address to Google Maps in Long Beach. Long Beach, as I know, some of you might not know, it's a very large city, has a lot of territories, has a lot of different zip codes in different pockets. So just kind of take an overview first of where it's at. Okay, so it's on the west side of the 710. There are certain pockets that are very nice here. This is by my own personal knowledge. That's why it's so important for you to understand a lot of parts of Southern California or wherever you're investing, because it enables you to like right away know, hey, this isn't that bad part of town, or this is like a decent part of town that's transitioning, or this is a really nice part of town. I remember that being in that area. So this is just a nice working class neighborhood.
And it's close to the freeways, close to the harbor, close to a lot of job access. So this is not a bad corridor to be in, right?
Yes, but there is a little concern, right? We have an off ramp here. Sometimes, again, this is by knowledge. I'm going to look at to make sure, is there a wall barrier, a sound barrier, you know, because not only is sound, but pollution. Okay, so there is. But look, what is it? What do you see?
Could be some potential graffiti that had to get covered up there. Maybe some, you're not really sure, but
yeah, whenever you have these things off the freeway, you have people like homeless encampments kind of start up. You have people coming, just hoodlums, you know, just juveniles coming around. So, you know, just something to be aware of. All those little nuances, you have to think about it because you're buying that property, and then if you're going to resell it to someone else, you need to know what you're buying. Okay, so as you see, it's kind of close to the freeway. I don't love that, but it's not this house either. But it is fairly close. So we'll kind of take that note. And so if the house over here is a comp, for example, well, I would give this one, you know, everything else being equal, more, you know, I would give mine a lower value simply because it's not as close to the freeway. You follow me on that? Good. Okay, so.
And those are like interior streets versus, you know, main streets, right? Like you want to give a little bit more, you know, benefit to those that aren't off a main thoroughfare or a freeway.
Exactly. And then also on that same token, if it was like, say, this house here on this main street, Santa Fe, also, but how busy is Santa Fe? Is it kind of just one of those, you know, is it really busy street, or is this just kind of a main thoroughfare that goes through, but it's generally not that busy? And also at the entry level price points, it isn't as big of a deal killer to some families as it is like in the higher end space, right? Or the mid, you know, like that 7, 8, 9, $1 million house. Like people are going to be way more choosy about it being on a main street or not. So anyway, so you just gotta you don't really want to spend too much time on it. This is mainly the maps for me is mainly to make sure that there's no deal killers. Like if it's right next, like to, like he said, a cemetery,
a big mixed use building, a big commercial building, a freeway, you know, a homeless encampment, you're looking for those deal killers, right?
Yeah. Or if it's like next to some really rough, like let's give an example, because I know Wilmington, like these houses right here. I mean, I might not be interested. Look at this right around commercial. So it really got to be a fantastic deal. And we'll look at the numbers now, because the numbers are really what help you determine whether you're going to buy a property or not. So that's just the first step. Look on, see if there's any deal killers. Go on to Google Maps. I don't see any now. We're going to go to the next step, which is now looking at the comps, because again, you should be able to analyze these deals in less than 10 minutes. So copy and paste to the MLS. One of the second steps I do is I go on title, just as I want to see if there's anything relevant, such as you know, discrepancy in the square footage, bedroom, bathroom count.
Title, Alex, will show it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and the MLS listing shows it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right?
Yeah, so you're looking for what we call hidden value, or you know, something like that, where maybe it's on title showing the 3-2, and then but functionally they change it to like a 2-2 because they wanted bigger bedrooms. Now you could convert that back to a 3-2, and now it's gonna, you know, it's gonna probably sell for more or be worth more because of additional room. Or there could be, look, for example, here, if we zoom in, I don't think I even talked about this. Sometimes there's like another extra guest house or something, right? Where look at this house next to
garage space, bonus area.
This, and then this, and sometimes there's some bonus areas, and you might find it on when you do the search for inspections. Oh, one of my best flips that actually happened to be in Long Beach. There was a permitted rumpus room of 400 square feet. Actually, I think I could bring it up real quick. It's right over here in like Wrigley. I'll show you right now. Yeah. Okay, on Main. Yeah, so I flipped this house right here. I'll show you guys. Okay, where's it at? I know it's gotta be here somewhere.
And Alex, obviously these
Okay.
bonus areas, people are gonna like that because that
Yeah,
allows
yeah.
some extra income, right?
Yeah, so let's see. It's one of these. Yeah, so it's this property here. You see it has this additional room back here. So it was like a permitted rumpus room. And so we were able to kind of get an extra value for that. But we did some additional research and it helped us with that a lot. So let's see. Okay, going back to the title search. What I'm really looking at on the title search is I'm seeing what's on title. It's showing a single family residence. Because this might say duplex. Again, that might be hidden value. It's being sold as a single family, but it's a legal duplex. That can be relevant and something you got to dig into a little bit more. So a lot of what we're doing here is investigative work, where you're just finding out really what am I potentially buying here, because you're searching for accuracy more than anything. All right. So another thing kind of relevant, especially when you're dealing directly with homeowners, I like to see when they took their last mortgage out, so I can get an idea of potentially their payment. Because it's kind of hard to just ask a property owner like those details. And if you have some of that information up front, it enables you to have, I think, a little bit more of an informed conversation when you're in dealing with that context, in that scenario. Like, oh, okay, so it looks like you took out a loan out for like 400,000 or 600,000. Like, do you guys still owe that much? Or, it'll help you with the conversation because you might have to ask those questions down the road anyway. If you do a little bit of research on a good lead on the front end, then you'll be much more prepared for the conversations and you're gonna ask much more purposeful questions. Does that all that make sense?
No, I love that. It's a good way of putting it, right? Like you just want to, although you don't necessarily need to disclose that, like, hey, I know your mortgage amount is $700 a month, but it's like, you want to know that information while you're crafting up your offer and deciding what that avatar looks like that you're trying to buy this house from, right?
Yeah, and it can also help you talk to the agent, like, oh, look, how much they owe on the property. It looks like they took a loan out for this much. How much are they trying to net after the sale? Because you could reverse engineer the numbers and say, hey, this person's going to charge them probably a 5% commission to sell it. They owe about this much. They're trying to make this much. Oh man, if they sucked my offer, then they would actually have to bring money to the table. But then that's probably not a good deal. Whereas, oh, this person only owes 200. They have a real fixer upper. It could be worth like 800, and then they're trying to net whatever that amount is, and you can work down that net a little bit, right? So having a little bit more information, it can be helpful for you. I don't want you guys to waste a lot of time, because I did that in the past too, though, where I'm just I'm getting too much information. I'm just saying that in analyzing deals, sometimes you need to look at additional information that can help you turn that into a better opportunity, or to have a better conversation within what you're that deal that you're pursuing. Cool. See what else. I don't think anything else here, but now that I have a good overview of it, this is a 1,200 square foot house, about 5,000 square feet. These are numbers, again, you got to kind of memorize just like quickly off the cuff, because you're going to compare them to other houses, and they're not exactly cookie cutter, like the exact same house, the exact same bedroom count, but they are in the same area. So you're really trying to quickly, okay, this is what I'm working with. What am I comparing that to? So what oftentimes I'll do is I'll just write down the quick and skinnies. Okay, 3.2, 12.66, 48.79, right next to each other on one line if I'm analyzing the deal, just so that way I can have it right in front of me, or I can have it under the screen, whatever you prefer, and then I can just now analyze the deal. I saved that search. I'm going to go back to that search because it's going to come up relevant, but let me just show you real quick. I'm going to now comp this property. That is something that's kind of an art and a science in itself, especially if you don't know the area that well, or you haven't been doing this for that long. That's why we always encourage, to analyze deals all day, every day, if you want to get good at, knowing your numbers and getting into better opportunities. Okay, so 12.
We were on a great call with Ryan yesterday, and that was one of his big points, right? Is like, just repeat, right? Like if you repeat this over and over and over again, you might not know the Long Beach area, but man, if you review 25 deals like Alex did, like you'll probably know a little bit more about it than you did before, right?
Yeah, because you read the listings too, and you learn stuff about the area, what's kind of going on, and you look at the numbers, they all just start to tell you a story. So again, I hope I'm not going too quick, but we're really trying to cover a lot of ground with you today. So what we're going to do is, what I typically do is now, is like, first of all, I'm not going to go back 180 days. I'm going to go at max right now, maybe let's say 60 days, even though that's a little bit of a stretch right now, simply because the market has shifted so much. So I'm looking at all the actives under contract. Let me zoom in a little bit, because I know some of you might be on your phones. And so this MLS
That's a little bit better. Thank you.
Yeah. And then so going back 60 days, I want to know all the actives under contract, or the pending and the closed properties that are within half a mile. Sometimes they go to 3/4 of a mile. Just remember, this is an art and a science. You're just trying to get an idea of what's happening in that area. And then you could filter it down and down more if you don't have enough results. So let's see what we got here. So we got 26 listings. That's a bit much. Usually what I'm trying to look for is a little bit closer to like 10 to 15. But this does give you an overview of like market a little bit as well too, right? Where we see that there are currently 8 actives. There are currently 3 under contract, 4 that are pending, and then there's another, I don't know, 9 or so that are sold comps. And as you see, these arrows have been in the past, we've discussed them where they're just showing a trending of whether they're getting over asking or under asking in the area. And it seems like it's been pretty strong in this neighborhood. As you can tell, there is 8 houses that sold of
That's
the
a lot of up arrows, right?
Yeah, of the 9 houses, this is a telling, right? This is telling us something. Out of the 9 houses that have sold in the last 60 days in this neighborhood, 8 of those sold for over asking price. So that gives me confidence on that things are not going to maybe just drop off the face of the either.
And then next we'd probably look at days on market on those, right, Alex, and get a feel like, okay, so they all sold over asking, like how long were they on market for, right? How long did they have to sit on there to get there? And I think if you scroll right, because you zoomed in a little bit, it's not showing your whole page.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, if you scroll right over there. So again,
exactly. We go back over here, we see, look at the days on market for most of those sold, 5, 9, 4. So there is not one property that's sold
more than a month, more than 2 weeks, really, right?
Yeah, so that's strong numbers there. Now, granted, there is a lot of active. So in this market, what I would have to do is just kind of really just tear apart each of the actives and see why is it not pending yet. We see this is only on market for 2 days. Looks like it's a little bit kind of overpriced, 725. Yeah, it's overpriced if things are going for what we can tell here. Let me go back. Sold. And I didn't even do a criteria for the square footage. So there is more properties here than maybe that are not direct comps to us, because this is like 700 square feet that I would not compare a house that's 1,200 square feet to one that's 750. So I would eliminate that by just going up here. But it is good to see that snapshot. So let's filter it down even more, just so we have an even better like for like of the properties that we're looking to, the property that we would potentially buy. So being that as a 1,266 square feet,
real quick on that, Alex, I just want to point out again, guys, like Alex just did a big snapshot view to get an idea of the general market in that area. And now he's really kind of dissecting in again on this particular house, but he just wants to know within a couple of blocks of here, like how many houses are selling, what's the activity looking like, regardless of whether it's 1,000 square feet or 1,000 or more, right? Like just what's the average activity level? Exactly.
And this side, I know Long Beach, but this is actually superior than this over here. So what I would do
is also closer to Signal Hill now on that side of the 710, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just changes actually dramatic. So what I would do, just again, based on my knowledge, you might not know this, but if it was up to you, what you would need to do is say, hey, if you're not personally gonna drive those comps yourself on the other side of the freeway, then you need to have someone do it, or don't use them, because I mean, you don't know the area, so exclude them. So I know that it's only those areas I kind of want to exclude. This is very similar, this area. But I didn't talk about that much too. The map is relevant because I'm looking at, okay, what is the closest household? Well, this house is right here, right by our house, 808. But it's 1,800 square feet. Again, much bigger than ours. Let's go back. I don't want to jump all over the place, but I was about to describe that if I'm trying to go for like property, our property is 1,266 square feet. So typically you want to be within about 15% of that number, give or take, like larger or smaller. But so you don't have to, you can just do a quick numbers. Usually for me, I just do like 200 square feet, bigger or smaller, because 15% is about like 150 square feet. And that might be too precise, where I might be missing that comp that's like 16% bigger than me, but it's a like for like, it's it's in the same condition, it's also flipped. So long story short, I'll just say like I'll do 1,066 square feet to 1,466 square feet. And this is not hard, like a hard rule. Like I might be a little bit more flexible. Also, you can maybe zoom out a little bit, but again, it depends on the area. Now,
this is sometimes guys, like Alex, how many comps do you typically like to work with?
This is about the comps 8 to 10.
8 to 10, right?
Yeah, 8 to 10, because it's precise enough to get an overview. And remember, we've already filtered down by like, the type of property, the size, the location. So we're really trying to get like for like. And as you see, when we do the snapshot, there's only one active, and it's an active we looked at already that I think is unlisted for 729. It's lived in. It doesn't. The marketing, the pictures are shitty. Excuse my language. It's been on the market 35 days. It was originally, if you look at the listing, which it looks like it was listed for 745 10 days ago. Probably got crickets, radio silence, and then they dropped it after 10 days by what appears to be about a little bit less than 20 grand. Sorry, that's not going to sell your house. I think.
And again, like the poor pictures show it, right? Like they're trying to get top dollar with, not top dollar pictures and not really good marketing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is not our competition per se, because we're not going to be in that condition when we sell, but it is an active market on the market. Let's go into the pendings. What we're doing big right now, I know we're running a little behind schedule, is we are calling agents to see where they fell onto that market. With the raise of hands, do we want to call this agent and see what they got on this property, or should we just continue analyzing the deal? Because that's what we would do to find out where they fell, if they could educate us, and they're kind enough to tell us. Now, it is a big.
Guys, go ahead and let us know in the chat. Give us a yes, and if we get enough yeses, we'll call the agent. And if not, again, you guys can go back and kind of look at some of our past calls where we're calling those agents live. But let us know if we get enough yeses, we'll give them a call. Okay, so another one there. This one has. Let's take a quick look at that. The condition. I mean, these are, you got to look sometimes very detailed, because the cabinets could look new, but then they're just painted over. You're like, oh, well, and just get better. I mean, it's nice, but I mean, it's not it's just lived in. I think they cleaned it up, has some, yeah. So I don't see anything crazy different about this one. Okay, so that one's pending, and it's a 765. So, all right, it is a 3. And Alex, we're getting a good amount of people coming in here in the chat saying, yeah, let's give them a call. So let's choose one of these just to call and kind of check in with the agent.
Definitely. I think we're almost, let me just say this other pending. This is a 5-bedroom though. And let me look at the condition. It looks like it is. Okay, so this one looks like it could be a flip or remodel. So I actually almost rather call this one. And let me see, let me just read this real quick. So that way we have some context, right, of what it really is compared to ours. This one does have an attached ADU though. Yeah, see. That's where they're getting the extra 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. It's a 3-1 on the main house. Oh, okay. 769. Okay, so let's call the if we can, the one before that, I think. What's your vote? Yeah, I think the one before it's a good one. Again, it's pending. It went in 12 days. Yeah, the reason I don't want to call the one before that one too is if you look at it, and when I took a closer look, it has a 10,000 square foot lot when ours is only 4,900. So I think this one's more like ours, the one on Hayes. So let me call that one real quick. Let's see if we can get this agent on the line. Show you guys how I'm asking the potential accepted offer price and dancing around that kind of sense, because they're not supposed to tell us exactly what it is.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Is this Gideon?
Speaking.
Oh, hey. This is Alex. I'm an investor. I was calling about your property on Hayes Avenue.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if you could educate me, I'm trying to see if, where it maybe it's going to come in at as kind of a comp. I'm using for another property. Were you able to get asking, or where were you guys where did you fall in, and how's that looking as far as escrow? Because it could really help out, bro.
I'm sorry, you're working with a seller or a buyer?
No, I'm looking at an off-market deal in the area, kind of not too far by.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, and you're working. You are the buyer, or you're?
No, yeah, I'm the principal. I'm the investor. I have several projects.
Okay. It sold for 800.
Really? Because it looked like it had gotten a price drop, and then it got 800. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, thank you for your help. I appreciate it, Gideon.
Sure thing.
All right. All right. So he said it closed at 800. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But it is relevant to our ARV now.
That's instead of data point, right? Like that's a point that we would put into our, our data points. Like, okay, cool. This one went for 800K. Now, again, I agree with you. It's a little alarming that it went down in price, but then it shot back up. But maybe, he found his buyer, right?
Yeah, and I mean, he could be bullshitting me. Maybe he doesn't want to help or something. I don't know. But we'd still keep an eye on it. He didn't sound that thrilled to help me, but other people are much more helpful. It just depends on the agent. But I mean, you got to ask, because these are relevant to like the decision you're about to make on another property. So they're even more relevant than ever than in the past. We would always do it, but now we're way religious about it now. So any questions on that? That guy said down came 800. Let's look at this comp here. Because again, we're running a little bit behind. I still wanted to look for some fresh deals to show you guys. And then we still have that one in Riverside to look at. Provide extra opportunity. Let's look at the condition. This one sold for 816. And what's odd is this thing doesn't look remodeled. Why did this sell for so much?
Doesn't look that clean, right?
Oh, wait.
It's got that ADU back house.
Okay. So if we read the description, what does it say? Say there's currently a room attached to the garage. Permit status unverified. That could be a home, office, gym, crafts room. Okay. So again, whenever you have an extra living space or an extra area that they're essentially buying, and they can figure out, as a buyer, whether they're going to permit it or just leave it as unpermitted space that they can use as an office and not put plumbing and all that stuff into it. That's a lot, good amount of value. How much value is harder to determine, and that's why you really got to look at the comps and see what are the ones with unpermitted or extra spaces going for, and what are the ones that don't have that. So hopefully there's comps in there to help you out to determine that. But as you see, what's kind of interesting, this one sold for 816, this one sold for 728. Why did this one sell for so much less? And condition, let's see. Dated kitchen. I mean, it's not special, and there's an enclosed patio here. So this didn't have the extra area. I mean, and this sold for, almost like $70,000 or $80,000 difference. $90,000 difference. So, but what about this one? 800,000. Now this one is Spanish style.
Like a cleaner Spanish style, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see these little features like
people love those archways. Look at that tile on the inside. That walkway. It's a nice look.
Yeah, and it looks like it just has a lot of characters. Remodel. Oh, and it has a pool, and it has a garage. So yeah, look at that. So I think that's where that one went. So I think it's safe to say, I think we can kind of wrap this up. We'll wrap up this particular deal. We don't need to look at because there's City of Long Beach, so we don't need to look at either one of these. But what we will do now is just jump right into the numbers and then kind of analyze the deal myself, because I think what was the asking price on this one, if you recall? I guess it doesn't really matter, because what I'm going to do is, because it's a strong area, I'm only going to reduce the ARV that I would think normally by 10 to 15%. So maybe we just kind of fall right in the middle, 12.5% than what we thought it would be worth. So in this case, I think I'd be comfortable somewhere around 800. What about you, Will?
I think that's a fair ARV. Again, I think based on all the stuff that we've kind of seen out there, the bonus spaces, I would feel pretty safe in there. Now ours is on that, freeway off ramp. So that is something to, take into consideration. And so, maybe ours wouldn't get that premium 800, but I could see 775 to 800.
Well, no, what I'm saying is my ARV is that now I have to fade that or reduce that. Or
So that was your starting ARV, and then you're going to take a little bit off. That's my starting
ARV. So I'm going to reduce that ARV by 12%, and that comes out to $704,000. So now my numbers need to work at somewhere around a low 7 number, because that could happen, ladies and gentlemen. There could be a lot more comps, and all of a sudden this house I was going for 800 could be going for 700. I mean, that is the reality we're in now. So I'd rather be on that side, and then it only goes down to 750, and we still make it, great money, than if it goes down to 700 and then we actually lose money because we didn't factor in what's happening right now with the shift. So let's just say, we can be generous and say 710 then. Let's say 710, we just give it a little bit of bump over 700. It's going to be our ARV. Now that's going to be my base ARV there. Okay. A property that size, 1,200 square feet, we were spending $40-ish, $45 a square foot. Now, I want to say, we're probably closer to 55, 60. Yeah. So if we say 55 times 12, 66, we're looking, even that's at 70. I think that's a little bit light, but I'll do 72.5. Okay, so 72.5, 180 days. So just so you know, it, for those of you that have not attended before on the deal review, you need to have a flip timeline here. Can you see this, Will? Can you see this, everybody?
Yes, sir. Your rehab days, listing period, escrow, and any pad or fudge time, right?
Yeah, exactly. So so if you really want to be kind of like looking at stuff now, it's like, okay, so what does that equal? That equals 164 days there. where before we could, calculate deals at 125, 135 days. So our base case on that one will be, I think, 165. We'll just kind of round it up there. We don't have time to go into all the details of the calculator itself because we've done other, kind of webinars on that. But just to show you, we plugged in the kind of a purchase price we would need to be at. We typically want to be at 30% cash on cash return, or a minimum of 60 to 70,000 profit for this size purchase for us. So this seems to kind of match our overall what we're looking for. So we can get this property for around 500. We would probably buy it because we want to look at worst case scenario, right? Where it's 500,000. I think worst case scenario, I calculated, man, this thing would tank down from 800 all the way to 650. And I mean, this is a matter of like 4 or 5 months. So, and then instead of spending about 70 that we would do that, we went over budget $20,000, which is like 20-30% of the budget. And then we held the property and took way longer, another 60 days, 90 days to, finish the property or sell the property. Because we have to expect now that it's going to take a month and a half to sell a property rather than a week, rather than 2 weeks. So we have to add that to all of our timelines. And maybe the bank wants us to put 25% down where we've been putting 10 to 20% down. Okay, cool. So the worst case scenario on this deal, also, we're probably going to pay a higher rate than we've been paying 8%, 8.5. Now it's probably to be 10%. So in this scenario, if everything hit the fan, we bought at 500, we would potentially lose like $16,000. Now, I'm okay with that. I've said that before in the past, losing $10,000 to $20,000 on a deal where everything possibly went wrong, because it's not very common that happens. But as you see, like this property that could be worth, close to 800,000. We have some upside. So we like deals.
I was gonna say, would you guys on the call want to make $170,000 for a chance of losing 15? Like that seems, pretty 150K over there on that best case. Like that seems pretty realistic, right?
Yeah. So the upside of this one, like, oh wait, I mean, if we hit our numbers, we'll get close to 70,000. We do really, really bad awful, we're gonna lose about 15 grand. And then if we do really well and the market doesn't tank that much, or this market, because it's so strong and in demand, stays, then we could make, close to multiple 6 figures on this deal. So that's why we're still, actively looking to buy, because these opportunities will exist and people, but is it going to be easy to get an offer accepted for 500,000 on this property that they're seeing comp rent of 800,000? Not likely. So you're gonna have to make more offers to like get more deals in this market. So I think that we covered a lot of ground there. We're running short on time. I'd like to go on to that wholesale deal in Riverside, unless
let's check out that wholesale deal in Riverside. I think that'd be a good one. Just again, give some insight on looking up a different deal and how that one would kind of look.
Awesome. Have any real pressing questions that we can answer while I bring up the other deal?
Yeah, again, guys, if you guys need any additional deal review time, I posted the link in there for our YouTube page. On that YouTube page, there's a playlist that has, I believe, like all 15, 20 of the deal review webinars that we've done on there. And so again, if you guys want more time reviewing the calculator, seeing how those numbers work, seeing how Alex calculates 185 days, feel free to use that link and you guys will find a lot more similar webinars to this one, where we're just kind of looking at deals and breaking down actual deals. Some of them that we actually purchased, some of them that we passed on, some of them that we purchased and made, 6 figures on, some that we made base hits on. So, we kind of break them all down on that YouTube. So this one, Alex, is out in Riverside and it's from a wholesaler, right?
Yeah, so off-market wholesale deal, 380 Saratoga. Do you have the details in front of you? What the asking is? Again, the asking to me is like almost like insignificant at this point. Like they can ask whatever we want. If it's within like within 50 to 100 grand of us wanting to buy it, we'll look at it. If it's not, we won't even look at it because it's so overpriced. And that happens with wholesale. That happens with MLS deals. That happens with homeowners. So I mean, there's still a lot of people that don't really get it. Like the market is shifted. You need to account 10, 20% reduction, or you're not going to sell your stuff. Like we're seeing it with our own things. Like we just sold a property that, I think we were projected to make like 80,000, 75. We're going to make 50 to 60. Cool. It is what it is. We're not going to dibble and dabble and like hold on for months to squeeze out another, 10, 20 grand. We're still paying, 3,000, 4,000 on that house every month. So, it's better if we sell it, everybody gets paid off than to just sit on it. So, all right, back to this webinar. Let's look at this other deal. So Saratoga, this one is in Riverside. I will say I am not as familiar with Riverside as, I have not done a lot in the IE because we do so much in core Los Angeles and Antelope Valley, other parts. But this property looks like a single family residence south of the 91. I do know that like the downtown, where's the downtown at? It's desirable just because like, I mean, it's okay, it's over here. So there's a lot going on over here. Yeah, so
You guys, you see Alex is just using that Google Maps to take a quick aerial snapshot of like, what are we dealing with? What kind of neighborhood are in? Where are we at, right?
yeah. So
Now we're
look at
dropping
that.
on the street to see a street side view. Like, what does this neighborhood look like? Looks like some nice trees, clean
Yeah,
streets.
nice little residential neighborhood. Does, if you see there is, what do you notice with a lot of blue over here?
A lot of pools.
A lot of pools. It's hot out there, right? Probably the pool is, if you look at a little neighborhood, you know, less over here, but I mean, a lot over here too. Look at, I mean, then this whole street.
South of that main corridor street, it looks like everything south of there has a pool, right?
And what about us? No pool.
No pool, right?
No pool. So, you know, again, these quick things, you got to be able to just like really determine really quickly, okay, you know, this is what I'm working with. Let me compare it. And then you might need to ask additional questions to the people that are, you know, that might be able to give you data of like whether how much an additional pool can go out there. As far as like, oh no, that's, so again, we go back about 90 days. The comps that are the most recent are the ones we're going to hold the most weight with us.
Yeah, and Alex, you pointed that out earlier. Like, we're just doing 90 days right now because obviously, you know, we want to be tight with our market timeline because the market's shifting, right? But normally we used to go back 180 days, 6 months.
Yeah.
But what
exactly.
sold 6 months ago might not necessarily sell this month in this current market conditions, correct?
Yes. So we're just trying to get the most recent stuff, and that'll continue to be the case until we have a little bit more clarity of like where things are falling, especially with, you know, us having I think 3 or 4 properties that we're gonna be putting in the market very soon. So those are data points that we'll know very soon, and can help us determine what we're gonna, you know, buy, not buy, at what prices going forward too. So, okay, so this property is, you know, just like before, I'm just looking at, I looked at the aerial view, there was no deal killers. Now I'm looking over the title to see if there's anything that's relevant that I want to ask or get clarity on. Just simple 3-2, building area, single family, don't see anything. This one is, I think, listed as a wholesale deal, but then like, I think a lot of times it happens, wholesales will send a deal that they don't even have locked up, but this is a listing. Untouched fixture, 6 days on the market, great neighborhood right off Tyler exit 91. The home has fruit trees. Let's look at pictures. Dated kitchen, dated living area.
And Alex, again, you're just kind of looking through here and looking for data points, right? Like, what can we compare what we're looking to, you know, to get an idea of where our market could fall, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just trying to get an idea. Okay, okay, cool. Now I get a better idea of the property. I don't see anything deal killers. Let's comp it out. Let's jump right into to save time. I'm gonna just do 1100 to like 15. And single family within, let's see how many results we get. Okay, so 11. That's good. You see kind of range. We do see 4 actives right away. Let's look on the map and see if there's anything that's really close to us that just sold. We do see 2 neighbors. This map view is also helpful because I can see right away if there's a pool or not. This one doesn't have.
I was just going to say, you can point out right here from these, is there a pool or is there not a pool? What are these houses, right?
Yeah, so this neighbor just sold 575. Looks like
lived in but dated.
Lived in but dated.
But clean.
But good condition. Doesn't have a pool. 575. So we would not be that exact same thing because we would be remodeled. But again, it's a data point and it's sending a neighbor two down. So I probably wouldn't be that aggressive on my ARV. Let's see here. This one, wait a minute. This kitchen. I mean, the kitchen's remodeled, but there's carpet in the living room and the bedrooms. It looks like it's lived in. So it just looks like a, you know, nice.
Again, looks like a clean, updated, but lived in property, right?
Yeah. And then there's a lot, I mean, we don't have time, but look at all these. I would certainly be calling these couple, right? Like, hey, what's going on? What did you come in at? Pending 589. Does this one have a pool? What is the kitchen? You see, they're just painted cabinets.
Kitchen looks like painted. I was gonna say they painted over and added new hardware, right?
Yeah, and there's no, it's not remodeled. Bathrooms are dated. So we haven't found like kind of a true comp, like what's something that sold that would look like what we would be looking like. This one is 571. again, dated. And so it's a hard to determine like what would a remodel property go for here because we don't see it yet. And then this one here, 600. Same thing, not remodeled, has, it's nice, but yeah. Okay, so we then in this case, maybe we go back a little bit longer, a little bit further, just to see if we see a flip in that neighborhood at you know, something that give us a little bit more context. But this one sold for 615. Let's see what that looks like. And you know, this all could, and this is my theory, but this also could mean that like this area is kind of dominated, you know, homeowners, like there's not a lot of distress in here because there's not a lot of like fixer uppers that people are flipping, right? Or it's like, it's kind of a mature neighborhood. And so it's kind of, in some ways, harder to get a deal because there's not as many distressed properties where people are desperate. It's a very kind of, you know, mature neighborhood, as I just mentioned. So I would say, just to give you guys kind of like quick back of the napkin ARV, I'd say maybe we can get somewhere in the low sixes because it'd be remodeled kind of as my core ARV. And then we're going to fade that. Maybe not as much as the other one because it does look like it's you know, strong. There's not that many things that are like us. So if we did 625 ARV and then we faded that by 10%, what would that look like? 625 times 9. So then that would be an ARV of 565 potentially here, or 562, 500 there.
They're asking 499.
Okay. So
which obviously, you know, and again, guys, that's why we wanted to kind of review this one, is because, you know, again, you're going to see like they're about 100K off on where we would want to be for this deal, right?
Yeah, on that house, what is it? It's 1335 times, again, about 50 square feet. So it will probably be somewhere around that same number, very similar. So, you know, they want 499. We probably be interested in the high threes, maybe, you know, 380, 385, maybe. But other than that, we're pretty far off, right, guys? Like, I just would not buy that property in this market and expect for it to get the same numbers.
Because
yeah, so,
Alex, let's look at the worst case on that same description. What if you did buy it for 425, say,
okay,
and then the market did crash 20% instead of just 10%? So now
yeah,
it's going to come down to 520 now.
Yeah, no, well, 20% of 625 would be then I think closer to 500. So you're looking at like 500.
Yeah.
And then you know, same thing. Look at that loss. I mean, that could be a huge loss.
And again, let's say it's only 190 days. Let's say you go a month overboard, you know, something like that happens, you know, again, like this could easily be a 60K loss if you're buying it at that price, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're really far off on that. Now on best case scenario, look at the best case scenario, because check this out. On this one, I don't see anything in the high sixes, even in the mid sixes. This one's inactive at mid six, and it doesn't look like it's going to sell because they just did a price drop based on this this indication here with the red arrow. And
it has a pool, so it obviously
so even like best case is like someone really falls in love. We do a fantastic job. I mean, I think we're probably best case 650, and that's if we're, no, I'm sorry, that's a say, let's say at 425 we do put the in the best case scenario 650. You know, we're looking at that. I mean, that it could hit that, but I think it's really unlikely.
But so again, looking at those comps, there's nothing that's sold for over 615. So that would mean the market would have to go up. We'd have to find our buyer. Like
the buyer would have to love it so much, and it doesn't have the pool. Maybe I'm being too nice. Let's just say
I think you're being too nice, man. There's no pool. Yeah. No pools aren't going that high.
Yeah. So I think somewhere in the low sixes.
I put the best case at 600, man.
Okay, well, let's see. That's why, I mean, it's like a purchase council, right, bro? Like, we don't buy houses just randomly. Like, we talk about it. Everybody gives their input, or at least people that, you know, are in the organization that have looked at enough deals that know, hey, this is kind of where we need to be at. So yeah, I mean, even best case scenario does not even look that good to me, right? I think it would probably still get something in the lower sixes, but
I could see it getting 625 if the market heated up. We don't have any fixed comps. We only have like lived in fixed. So
yeah, because
it could be a couple of questions coming in, Alex. I want to make sure we answer these for Javier. Javier is just wondering, how much per square foot are you calculating for rehab costs? And we went over that just a bit ago, Javier. It was kind of subtle. We used to be at about $45, $50 a square foot for a base rehab. And I think now with the cost of labor and cost of, you know, materials going up now, Alex, I'd say we're probably a little closer to 55, 60 a square foot.
And what does that equate? What does that equate to? Like about 10%. And what did the Fed just come out and say? Inflation is at 9.1%. So I mean,
Right in
are
line
those
with that,
numbers-
right? Our cost of doing business went up 10%. The cost of the dollar went up 10%. So Alex, can you make me host real quick? I'm just going to welcome everybody on the screen with us here as we end this this webinar. And then Lindsay just had another great question. You know, with that particular property, what would our rehab have entailed? Like, you know, floors, kitchen. Would you say that this was like cosmetic, or is this a heavy rehab that we were looking at?
No, I mean, that would be like a full cosmetic rehab, right? We're redoing the kitchens, we're redoing the bathrooms, or we're fixing anything that would maybe be we might have to do a little bit of plumbing, we might have to do a little bit of electrical stuff, but not like redo all the electrical, not redo all the plumbing either. Typically for, you know, a full cosmetic rehab, we might do one major kind of thing, but not, you know, several. And, you know, the flooring, paint.
And for us, Alex, when we say heavy rehab, we're more meaning like when we have to do a roof, a whole electrical system, a whole HVAC system, a whole new plumbing system, a new sewage line, a new, you know, a major system, right? Not just like flooring, guys. That's usually cosmetic. Like usually when people live in the house for a couple months or, you know, a couple years, you're going to have to do some cosmetic flooring, paint, stuff like that. And usually on our regular flips, like we're willing to do bathrooms, kitchens, things like that are considered kind of cosmetic as well, right?
Yeah. So if you use, say, I don't know, if you want to be even more conservative, $60 per square foot, and you're rehabbing 1,000 square foot house, that's $60,000 without redoing the roof. That would not be included in the cosmetic rehab. So if you're gonna do the roof, then that's gonna be set, you know, $10,000, $12,000. Okay, now it's a $70,000 rehab. So that's generally the formula we use, unless we get unless we have the project manager look at it and walk it and then tell us, he's gonna tell us, oh no, we're gonna be over here. And usually that's somebody that we trust that's already worked on several rehabs and knows the current pricing and everything else. What's up, everybody? Any last questions? I know I kind of talk fast. Hope you guys took notes. Like, give you everything I got.
Yeah, again, guys, if you have any, you know, final feedback, final questions, now's the time to kind of shoot before we wrap things up, and you know, let us know. We're happy to help. Everybody knows that calculator that Alex is running through, that is free. That's on our Facebook group. I posted the link in the chat. You guys can all download that for free. You guys can all run numbers on that on your own. A lot of times when you're new at this, guys, the easiest way to do it is, you know, bring a real estate agent with you on the appointment, or bring a contractor or friend with you on the appointment, and they can kind of help you out with those ARV numbers. They can help you out that rehab estimate numbers. You know, that's how I started when I was new to the game, is I would ask a realtor buddy of mine to kind of go on the appointment with me or look it over with me after I had gone, right? That way, you know, I got a second set of eyes on it. So I know Edward posted earlier in the chat, if you guys ever need help with MLS stuff, he's a licensed agent. He's more than happy to help you guys. You know, so reach out to people in your network that can help you. If you're not the best at rehab estimates, you know, find somebody that is, and that might be somebody that would be good to partner up with, right?
Yep. One thing I want to say before we end, though, is just understand that if you're going to have to reduce ARVs by 10-20%, that you're likely going to have to double your offer count to get the same deal. So for us, like, that's the way we're looking at it. I know we got a lender in the house. What's up, Ron? Anything you've seen on the lending side that you want to share with that's changing from the hard money, providing financing for flippers, that you want to kind of share with us as well? I think that's relevant to the conversation.
Not much. I mean, yeah, things change like in the market as things have gotten like a lot more strict. But like if you're in California, you definitely should be following us. We kind of like run a good amount of it, especially in SoCal area. So but yeah, everything's getting more strict as far as guidelines go. And I noticed like lenders that come in, or investors that come in, they're bringing in more spread, like picking up more, just like they used to pick up deals that was like 80% LTV. Now they're like coming down all the way to 60 just to make sure everything's secure, you know, the bag's secure. So yeah, everything's just tightening up.
Yeah, so we just gotta be conservative. That's it. So good. Thank you, Ron.
Love it, guys. Ron, appreciate your feedback, man. Alex, I was going to say, this is always one of my favorite webinars, right? We get to actually dive in, review some deals. If you guys got some value out of looking over some deals, if you guys feel like you got better at reviewing deals, go ahead and let us know in the chat down there, and let us know. Give us a thumbs up if your face is on. Give us a round of applause. Again, you know, we wanted to do this deal review. We try to do one of these a month so that you guys can see actively how we are analyzing and reviewing deals in our business, right, Alex?
Yes, sir. All right. See you on the flip side. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks for attending. Let's go.
Guys, we'll see you next week. We'll catch you guys on the call. And then if you guys are in town July 28th, we'll see you for the meetup. All right. Catch you guys on the flip side. Later, everybody.